What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video episode presented by Full Tilt Farming. I'm going to skip all the community stuff and I'm going to dive straight in. I've got a lot to unpack today. We're going to be looking at levelers. You can already see them in front of us. We've got two different versions. One of them has two different variations. We'll just take a quick look here. The MES 400 and the 500. You'll notice that the 500 has 2 more 1,000 pounds of capacity. So you still push them the same, but it just means you can push just a little bit more with it. Now, we've got a wheel loader version 2 that comes with a small one. We don't have the big one, does not come in variations. It is just a tractor one. This one right here that we're looking at right here, this is the MES 400. It does come with tractor and it comes with a wheel loader variation that allows you to hook it onto the wheel loader. And so, why aren't you doing this with the wheel loader? I have tried, and I have tried, and I've tried, and I cannot get it to work. Now, part of that is because there's the tiniest of increments make a big difference when you're pushing these heaps in the silos or in the silage bins. It would work good if you're going to use them for crop placement. And what I mean by that is something like, let's say you've got the shelter instead of brown bales over here, you actually have, let's say you've got some soy in the back corner, and you've got soy up here in the front that you've just used a tipper trailer to dump. You've got a conveyor belt in the very back that's pulling all that out, and it's put, if you've ever used the belts, you'll notice that sometimes if it's not close enough, you'll actually need to pull that material back out, or you'll need to move all your conveyor belt systems again, which it sucks in itself. So what you can do is actually use either one of these, doesn't matter, you can use either one of these to actually push the material from the front to the back where your stuff is, and that's one way, practical way to use it on the farm, in and around your different grain shelters and whatnot. That's variable. That's an actual good one. That's probably one that I actually will use. But looking at this, we're going to go ahead and look at the silage. Now I've already got this thing going pretty good, and you can see it's actually really nice and level. We're actually going to look at one thing, and that's we're going to drag a trailer load here, and I wanted to show you how to do this, because this right here probably is even more I guess looking at this is probably the most important part of this, because if you don't do this particular set right, then you make you a lot more work for yourself. So we're going to pull, you'll see in the bottom right there, we're going to pull our stuff down to about 3. You could go more. Basically, the slower your cruise speed is when you unload this, the taller your heap's going to be. The faster you do it, the more laid out it's going to be. It's going to be a thinner, but it's going to be a thinner strip, but it's going to be longer. So I'm just going to actually get back a little bit here, and I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to unload once I get past into the heap here. Yeah, we'll just do it there. Alright. So we'll go ahead and park this thing. Now I'm in the Fendt Vario here. Now the one thing I do like about this a lot is the fact that it's reverse drive. So go ahead and spin around here, and I'll pick with a small one up. Makes it a little easier when you make those little turns and stuff in here. Now the first thing that you want to look at when you first start leveling this out is make sure that you can keep your ramp going up into the bin. So if that means just taking a little bits off the top, then that's what you do. Don't get to where you bounce all the way up to the top and then you come crashing back down. So each one, if it's still not level, or if you've got a hump, then literally talking like that. Little increments will help save you a lot of time in the long run. So we need a little bit more, so we'll bring it down just that much, and you'll see that as we get closer to this heap, it's going to start making a difference when we get up here. Alright, now be careful when you get up to the very top, because once you ridge on the top there, that's when all heck can break loose. And basically just once you find the one that's actually doing the most leveling, go ahead and stay with it and just level out from side to side. And so you'll get to a point, see we're at 99%, so it's not going to let us push anymore. So once you get to that point, you're going to have to lift up ever so slightly, and then you'll be able to smooth it right on out. Now this can be a lot more difficult. I think it's the key to this is starting out from the get-go. Don't let yourself get behind on this. If you want or have any inclination of keeping a clean silage pit, whatever you want to call this, you keeping it clean one depends on you doing this every single time. If you don't do this, then you'll eventually kind of, you'll pay somewhat of a price on it, because it will jump up and bite you. Now I'm going to show you one thing, and then I'm going to actually speed this up. So I'm going to show you what happens when you bite off more than you can chew. Pretty much what you're going to see is you're going to see this thing do this, what I would call a whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo is like the old jumps in the dirt bike realm, where you hear them and you go back and forth. They're on front wheel, back wheel, front wheel, back wheel, and they're flying through them 60 miles an hour. Well, these will do the exact same thing if you mess it up. So if you come in here and just kind of ram at it, then at some point this is what happens, and before you know it, you've completely gotten a mess. a few things just to kind of keep in mind. Make sure you build this ramp. That is the most important thing with this. Again, I can't stress that enough. If you get to the point where you jump over a ridge and you dive into the next place and cut a big section off of the silage, or not silage, but the grass or whatever you've got in here, if you do that, don't panic. Just back it up and then work little bit by little bit of smoothing that over the top. You kind of got to be able to know what you're looking for, so I hope refer back to this video if it's the least bit interesting. I hope it was informative for you. That's all I'm going to cover in this one. We're actually going to look possibly at that crop movement with conveyor belts. We may look at that in another video, so kind of keep your eyes open for that. But anyway, that's it for levelers. Love to have some feedback from you guys. If you think this was a good video, give me a like, comment this in the comment section, subscribe and share. It does help. This is for console. There's not a lot of stuff out there like this for console, so share this with some of you boys, share this with some of the people that you're farming with and stuff. And we hope to see you in the next. We'll be doing more videos where hopefully some mods come out that we can actually review that are pretty decent. We've been really slack on the mods, but I've actually got 2 other crew guys that are going to be joining me for when we do these reviews, so that we actually get all 2, 3, 4 of us together. And also we're going to be featuring some guys out of the community so they can get a chance to jump in and give their opinions on some of these reviews as we kind of look at some of the new mods and look at those since they're available to everybody. So stay with us, and but until next time, I'm Cyclonova, and that is all from Full Tilt.